Hello everyone. Today I'll be presenting our work on binary code randomization. This is a joint work with my fellow PhD student Juan and my advisor Sekar. I'll be discussing just the highlights of our work and won't be getting into too much of technical detail. I hope that I'll be able to grab your curiosity so that you will be encouraged to read our paper, which contains a very detailed description of our techniques. Code randomization is a versatile defense against code reuse attacks such as return-oriented programming and jump-oriented programming. Although there has been a great deal of research into fine-grained code randomization techniques, many practical challenges have held back their deployment. The first challenge is compatibility with today's software distribution models. Majority of software, including open source software such as Linux distributions, are distributed as binaries. Patches are also deployed in binary form. The whole ecosystem, including mirrors and CDNs, rely on distributing the same binaries to all users. Thus, we need a code randomization technique that can work on commercial off-the-shelf binaries. Another perpetual concern is performance. Overhead below 5% are usually considered good for real-world deployment. The third main challenge is preserving compatibility with error handling and reporting features like C++ exceptions and stack tracing. Prototype models meant for research may have the liberty to leave this out, but it's very much essential for real-world deployment. In this work, we have developed a static binary instrumentation tool called SBR. SBR is short for Stony Brook Static Binary Randomizer. It works on a wide spectrum of programs and low-level libraries. Second, we introduce a new randomization technique that provides better entropy in the context of our threat model, which involves disclosure of compatibility preserving metadata. Finally, we carried out a comprehensive experimental evaluation of our randomization technique against several previously existing techniques. Our prototype is available for the community to use. You can download a VM that contains all the pieces so that you don't have to struggle with configuration or setup. Before venturing further, let me introduce the concept of stack unwinding. It involves working up the call chain using the return addresses stored on the stack. To do this, the return address is looked up against the address ranges within each function in the program. The relevant address ranges are generated as metadata by the compiler. In particular, this metadata includes start and end address of each function. It also includes information at a finer granularity about blocks within each function that we call unwinding blocks. We found out that there are about a dozen unwinding blocks per function. So the price for compatibility with these error handling features is that this metadata can expose so much information about code layout and thus complicating, if not negating, the benefits of code randomization. This discussion leads into our threat model. We are focusing on advanced code reuse attacks that go beyond conventional ROP attacks in which attacker knows about the code layout ahead of time. In our threat model, the attacker is able to use memory corruption vulnerabilities to leak code pointers that are stored in the memory. These pointer values are then used to de-randomize enough of the binary to assemble the gadgets needed by the attacker. This threat model becomes a lot more powerful in the presence of unwinding metadata, which reveals a lot fine-grained information about the code layout. Moreover, it is always present in readable memory, even in stripped binaries. The key challenge we address in this paper is that of developing code randomization techniques that provide adequate entropy against such a strong adversary. For direct Z-drop attacks, which rely on directly reading code, we rely on existing techniques that make code unreadable. To provide good entropy, despite possible leak of unwinding metadata, we first introduced a probabilistic randomization technique called LLRK. LLRK breaks function at random locations such that the average partition size matches a specified parameter k. The partitions are then permuted randomly. To summarize the advantages of LLRK, when attacker discloses a code pointer, C can only obtain the location of k more instructions around the code pointer. Assembling a useful or meaningful gadget payload will require many such leaks. Because of entropy contributed by random choice of breaking points, LLRK provides much more entropy than previously known techniques. Performance and entropy can be tuned by varying the parameter k. A high k value results in lower entropy and better performance. However, a lower k value results in high entropy at a greater performance cost. Finally, LLRK can be seamlessly combined with pre-existing randomization techniques to enhance entropy. The second component of our approach are techniques to reduce disclosure in metadata. While we can randomize code, unwinding blocks and their ranges are ultimately going to be exposed in the metadata. This is a major challenge since many of the unwinding blocks are just a couple of instructions long, and these instructions can often be fully identified from the metadata. So we asked ourselves, is it possible to suppress some of these unwinding blocks in the metadata without breaking the exception handling? We have developed such a method, and I'll be explaining it now. C++ exceptions are ultimately triggered by a call to the throw function in the standard library. Similarly, stack traces are initiated by a call to a function. So, unwinding in these cases is needed only if we are in the midst of a call. Based on this observation, we seek to remove metadata related to unwinding blocks that do not contain any call instruction. Actually, we absorb all non-call containing blocks into adjacent unwinding blocks that do contain calls. This technique is very effective and it leads to almost 7 times decrease in the number of unwinding blocks and 10 times increase in the number of bits of entropy. So far, we have talked about our approach for achieving a good security. Before I go ahead to discuss our experimental evaluations, let me give a brief summary about our instrumentation approach. SBR takes advantage of modern 64-bit Linux systems. Our first observation is that modern compilers separate code and data, which means we can employ a linear disassembly and still achieve correctness. Secondly, recent versions of Unix systems have started using position-independent executables or PIE binaries. An inherent property of PIE binaries is that they have relocation information. This piece of metadata records all constant pointers and can be used to our advantage. This makes recognizing and updating constant pointers easier. Third challenge that we need to overcome is to find and update all computed code pointers. We observed that in all the binaries that we used for testing, jump tables are the only cases that have a computed code pointer. We have developed a sophisticated intra-function static analysis to identify and transform all jump tables. As a result, we're able to identify all code pointers and remap them so that they point to the correct code locations in the instrumented code. This means that instrumentation approach is robust and does not by itself introduce any additional runtime overhead. Now, it's time to move on to our experimental evaluations. We evaluated our approach LLRK against 3 other pre-existing approaches. These are ZZR or zero jump randomization, which involves breaking code at unconditional jumps and then randomly permuting the code. BBR, a basic block randomization, which involves breaking code into basic blocks and then permuting these blocks. PHR, a pointer hiding randomizations, which hides all code pointers by using an additional code trampoline for every indirect control flow transfer so that the pointers only expose the locations of these trampolines and not the program code. Finally, we combined PHR with LLRK and evaluated its performance and entropy. Before we move on to discuss the numbers, let me give a brief summary of entropy metrics. First, there is function entropy. It measures the entropy of intra-function randomization. Although it's a good metric to measure effectiveness against indirect disclosures, it does not take into account the presence of EH metadata and overestimates the attacker's effort. Nevertheless, we report this entropy in our paper so that our numbers can be compared with those of previous works that have used this metric. In this presentation, I'll be discussing unwinding block entropy that measures entropy per unwinding block. Our evaluations show that our metadata reduction techniques enable us to achieve an entropy closer to that of function entropy. Our instrumentation approach was tested on a large spectrum of binaries, including low-level libraries such as Dynamic Loader and standard C library glibc. Note that these libraries contain significant amount of handwritten assembly code. SBR is able to correctly transform such low-level code. Other than this, 13 commonly used applications together with 200 plus shared libraries were transformed and their functionality was tested. Performance and entropy was evaluated on SPEC 2017 benchmark shoot. This slide summarizes the average unwinding block entropy and performance overhead of all the approaches we evaluated. BBR has the highest entropy in the lot, but a high performance overhead makes it unfavorable for real-world deployment. GZR has negligible overhead, but offers unacceptably low entropy with our threat model. PHR, which closely mimics Redactor, has a good entropy and an overhead of around 4%. In comparison, our approach LLRK with K equal to 16 offers a higher entropy at a significantly lower overhead. The combination of PHR and LLRK is also attractive, offering significantly higher entropy than PHR while adding only 1% towards the overhead. This slide plots the overhead against entropy, which makes it easier to access the trade-offs. Note that since we can tune this trade-off by changing K, our LLRK and its derivatives are represented by a line in this chart. All other techniques do not offer a knob for tuning, so they are just single points. Note that GZR is the square at the bottom left. It has low overhead, but also low entropy. BVR is the star at the right and the middle of the chart. It has better entropy than most others, but also sports a much high overhead. The blue line is our LLRK method. At K equals to 16, it has higher entropy than PHR, but much lower overhead. As you decrease K to 6, its entropy shoots up to over 2 times BVR, but the overhead is comparable. The red line is PHR plus LLRK method. At K equals to 16, the addition of LLRK to PHR boosts its entropy significantly, but the overhead increase is modest. So, to summarize our findings, we have successfully developed an instrumentation tool SBR that is exception and stack tracing compatible. Our new randomization technique LLRK provides an option to tune performance and security and achieves a better entropy than the contemporary randomization techniques. Our EH metadata reduction techniques helps us to achieve a better entropy in the face of critical information disclosure through EH metadata. Please check out our SBR system at the URL shown below. Thank you. I conclude my talk.